Attention! Diamond Dogs! Even with Skullface dead, our brothers are unavenged. And the phantom pain he brought us lives on. Cypher is still out there. We know they've planted spies, parasites among us. Watch the man to your left, to your right. Assume nothing. Report everything. It's the only way to protect ourselves. From here on out, you will be my eyes. The deadliest enemy's right here in our midst. And they will get no mercy.
Find and extract the missing CIA agent. The target was laying low with the friendly Mujahideen during the vocal cord parasites incident. The may have headed back to OKB-0 after the Soviets recaptured it. Check the target's VI on your iDroid.
Так, тут получается после сюжета есть еще сюжет. Это уже интересно. Я могу послушать инструктаж?
The agent that the CIA had working for them inside OKB-0 has gone missing. We've been given the job of finding and extracting him. The target learned of XOF's plans to use vocal cord parasites and had hidden himself with the CIA's Mujahideen allies. But following Skullface's death, the Soviets retook OKB-0, and all contact with the target was lost. He may have tried to go back to OKB-0, but even Langley isn't sure what's going on. After all, they've never even learned of Skullface's plan. That's probably what they want to get out of the man once he's extracted. But we can't allow Langley to learn of the existence of the vocal cord parasites. That's why I want you to bring the target out, boss. Once we have him, we can report him dead and keep him on base. All contact with Langley is being conducted through a cutout. Our reputation should remain intact. As for the reward, it's already in the hands of the cutout. All you have to do is get the job done. Just like always.
Интересности.
The target this time is a Soviet soldier who was passing information about his country's activities to Langley. He's the kind of scum I'd like to keep off Mother Base. But he knows about the parasites. We need to extract him to make sure neither the US nor the Soviets learn of their existence.
Итого мы имеем еще кучу кассет. Вопрос больше о чем слушать. О целях черепа, может быть.
Skullface has finally burned out. The world is rid of his existence at last. Was he still alive? You could say that. But you could also say he'd been dead for decades. What's that supposed to mean? Biologically speaking, it's hard to say how much was his life. Side effects from the treatment? No. The primary effect. Keeping a dying host alive as long as possible. That is the whole point. But in the end, he grew too dependent on his children. As if he had any other way to keep on living. He first underwent parasite therapy before the Soviet Union became his home. His body was horribly burned. Fire washed across his thin young frame and stole his skin and his throat, even his lungs. Only through repeated therapies could the parasites keep him alive. Most of his life became something the parasites gave to him. And then he lost the ability to die. That is correct. The parasites live on past the host's death, still aiding cell composition. At that stage, there is no way to extract them from the host cells. There is no way of knowing when the last soul of Skullface's body would die. The only choice was to burn the whole thing. And his children, along with it. And I am one to talk. When my life is snuffed out, I expect you to treat my body the same way. And when I burn, I will truly be one with my children for the first time.
Так это в итоге голос Код Толкера был или чего? Я хочу на эту базу сходить, может быть тут какая-то инфа есть новая? Или мне просто туда идти? Ну, посмотрим.
Analysis complete. Analysis complete.
А, ну это хвостун, блин. Хвостун-то плохо. Я надеюсь, они ничего не скажут.
Подожди, не стреляй.
Пленные?
The map has been updated.
Здесь есть пленный? What the fuck?
Подожди, не стреляй.
Специалист.
The map has been
Ничего
updated.
интересного.
Analysis complete.
Зачем я трачу, конечно, на это дело пистолет? Точнее, винтовку. Если я мог пистолетом тоже его хедшотнуть, в принципе. Эффект был бы тот же.
Enemy presence detected. The map has been updated.
Эффект был бы тот же. Домой хочет. Я надеюсь, это не было слышно так громко, как получилось в итоге, на самом деле. О, алмазики. Они, судя по всему, спавнятся периодически. Я просто помню, что они тут были. Вот. Когда какую-то побочку проходил в этом лагере. Так, я думаю, можно попробовать дальше слушать. Хотя, может, он что-то скажет хорошее, когда его эвакуируют. Можно попозже попробовать это сделать. Да чтоб тебя. Так. Мин нет, надеюсь? Вроде нет. Никакой инфы? Если нет, то я пошел слушать дальше.
You say there were 3 English vocal parasites. According to Skullface, yeah. Skullface had 2 of the English strain with him. You burned both of them. There was an oil fire. I tossed him in. So that just leaves 1. And you tell me Skullface said he used it. He said it was very close to me. Very close. One of your comrades. Or someone ordered to kill you. Or he could have been speaking metaphorically. Metaphorically. Close to your spirit. Close to your heart. Someone who either loves you or despises you. The second one makes a long list. Whichever it is, act with caution. Skullface implanted someone with the English language strain. Who it is irrelevant. Why? I tell you what Skullface really meant. Very close to you means you will be exposed. All the infected here have been given the Walbachia. Even if the vocal cord parasites infect them now, they cannot reproduce. But if there's a different host among us, host to the English strain. If that were the case, we'd see the symptoms. What about the non-English speakers? We have plenty of those, but the staff use English as a common language. But if that someone has not spoken English yet, and begins to speak it now,
Complete.
there'd be another outbreak. The final mating pair of the English strain must be found immediately. Skullface is gone, but his threat still remains. On this base, do you see what the final mating pair is? With him dead, those parasites are the stain he wished to leave upon the world. His thirst for vengeance. In the flesh. Think. Does anyone here bear a grudge against you?
Ну, москит только был, но нет.
Target you specifically. The ethnic cleansers that Code Talker mentioned, they weren't Skullface's true goal. All we have is circumstantial evidence, but here's my theory. It was Cypher who started developing the vocal cord parasites as bioweapons, parasitic weapons, and Africa was the testing ground for them. As Code Talker said, their purpose is the ethnic cleansing of only those who speak a particular language. So they could do a weapon of mass destruction to eradicate specific groups, races, ethnicities, or colonies by the language they speak. Or a kind of absolute language control. Or maybe a tool for those arrogant fools to build some misguided utopia. I could see plenty of uses for them. However, in practical terms, they wouldn't be as dangerous as you'd think. Counteracting the parasites is easy, after all. Cut them out of your throat to save your life, or just don't talk. That also prevents the infection from spreading. So if the international community were to find out about them, they'd no longer be the threat they were conceived to be. In which case, their targets would be limited to minority groups as a deterrent or a terrorist tool. It's hard to imagine Cypher developing something like that as a main weapon for their arsenal. That leads me to think we've only tugged on one little thread in Cypher's grand tapestry. An obscure corner of their work, possibly forgotten altogether. In any case, things changed. When Skullface was forced to relocate to Africa and he saw that thread dangling. All the time he continued that research, he was secretly following his own agenda. The ethnic liberator parasites. His English language strain. Skullface said
Так,
there
надо
were
это
only 3
прекратить.
samples of the English language strain.
Ну, конечно. И что я должен с ним делать теперь?
Takes care of the squad searching for the target. Now you just need to extract him. That takes care of the squad searching for the target. Now you just need to extract him.
Spit it out.
The map has been updated.
Так, ну эти штуки я эвакуирую.
That takes care of the squad searching for the target. Now you just need to extract him.
Понял. Ладно.
Help me.
Блин, там еще одна штука там валяется. Ну ладно.
Good work.
Mission info has been updated. The analysis complete.
Так, и что дальше? Я могу просто эвакуироваться? Странное дерьмо. Ладно.
Analysis.
Ух, нихера себе. С-класс.
He's coming too. Roger that.
Бестолковый. С-класс, говорите, да?
You gotta extract him.
Туда, что ли, еще сходить? Я просто хз, типа, это какая-то очень странная миссия, опять же. Так, ладно, если мы бежим туда, то аудиокассет. Цель черепа. Гипотеза.
English-language strain parasite, and I think we can believe him. Bringing his ethnic liberators' plan to fruition depended on creating an English version of the vocal cord parasites at all costs. But an English strain would have been useless to Cypher. Worse, it could have destroyed everything they'd built. It was the one type they couldn't allow. That means Skullface was forced to develop his English strain out of sight of Cypher's network. Naturally, he couldn't use the greenhouse facility Cypher had set up and filled with guinea pigs. Skullface must have found some secret place to create his precious few English parasites, hiding all evidence like a man cheating on his wife. Somewhere, an entirely standalone environment. And when his plan entered its final phase, he must have made the place disappear. Some little room, could be anywhere, but now nowhere at all. We'll never know where he did it. But to elude Cypher's surveillance, it couldn't have been big. I believe Skullface was telling the truth. There were only ever 3 samples of the English language strain. Why activate Sahelanthropus in Afghanistan? This is how Skullface wanted things to play out. The Soviet Union secretly develops a new type of nuclear weapon and successfully deploys it in Afghanistan. Revealing the existence of Sahelanthropus results in a return to the glory days of the Cold War. The threat it poses reignites the nuclear arms race between the world's major powers. The demand for nuclear weapons increases around the globe. What if you then introduced a nuclear weapon anyone could get their hands on? Non-nuclear nations, militant groups of all shapes and sizes, they'd all jump at the chance. Sahelanthropus was a marketing tool to sell nukes all around the world. But I think it's safe to say that plan was stamped out before it got up and running. The world's intelligence agencies never did turn up anything conclusive on it. After all, Sahelanthropus vanished before word could spread. Everything that's happened is already a fading memory, never to join the pages of history.
Надо начать.
Except for Cypher. Cypher won't forget. They'll already be working on something, quietly, beneath the surface. They'll use the pieces of data scraped together from this incident to build their own bipedal weapon. It'll take them a long time to complete it, but for now, the greed sector have found their new life's work. We'll have to be ready too.
Понято. Ну, снайперка в этом плане, конечно, хороша. Снайперка в этом плане хороша. Осталось только самих снайперов еще жахнуть. Тебя еще жахнуть надо бы. Сраку. Колы ставить ты. Опа. Так, а вот это уже не очень хорошо. А, ну 100%. Лети. Допустим. Чего, блин? Спасибо. — 80, да. Ну, пока рано. Так, челики. Плохой. Плохой. И у нас что? Хороший. Хороший. И у нас кто? А, хвостун, блин, ну понятно. Я-то уж подумал, мне что-то хорошее. Погнал. Да, ё-моё. Ты можешь бежать, нет? Тут что, тоже вырубился, что ли?
Analysis complete.
Забавно. Ну шо, можно и лететь, в принципе-то, я думаю.
Please select.
You gotta extract him.
Это, наверное, слишком близко. Хз. Или нет? Или нет, или да?
Please select support helicopter.
А, нет, это далеко.
requested.
Нормально. Нормально. А есть что послушать, интересно, еще?
Detected. The map has been updated.
Металлический архей. 2 минуты.
Code Talker. What are the metallic archaea? Volcanic craters. Spewing sulfur. Water. Hot enough to boil your skin off. Ocean depths of 800 plus atmospheres. Wastelands radioactive enough to kill you where you stand. There are groups of organisms that survive
2
despite
минуты, конечно.
no, because of living in such environments. I've heard about them. Extremo something. Extremophiles. By selecting certain species, then subculturing and repeatedly modifying them, I created a metallic offspring of pure archaea. They subsist on metals rather than organic matter. And some of them even consume uranium? Yes. Uranium enrichment archaea metabolize only uranium-235. As a result, they produce weapons-grade enriched uranium. How is that possible? Consider how plants fractionate carbon isotopes when they conduct photosynthesis. Nature possesses abilities beyond our imagination. So it was archaea that brought down your chopper? Corrosive archaea, yes. They oxidize metals, feeding off the energy in the electrons they receive. What became of the wreckage? We had the R&D team retrieve samples for study in airtight plastic containers, of course. Prudent. We shall extract archaea from it in good time. They should help you fight back against Blagabana. Any chance we could start now? It doesn't have to be a lot. I might just have another use for them. If it's only a small amount you need. That's fine. I'll get the R&D team to assist. Let's go.
Это для Хьюи. Понятно. Ну, полетели. Тут мы закончили, в принципе.
Boss, the target filled us in on what's been going on. He betrayed the Soviets, passing information to Langley, but got scared after learning XOF used the vocal cord parasites. Then came feelings of guilt that his leak sent comrades to their deaths, and fear that America might deploy such a weapon itself. But in reality, XOF and Langley don't have a collaborative relationship, and Skullface was not working for America. Still, I can't blame the man for being afraid. After laying low with the Mujahideen, he tried to cut his ties with the US and return to the Soviet military. But along the way, someone came after him, and he was forced back into hiding. Could have been remnants of XOF looking to silence him. And you know the rest. He doesn't seem to know much about the parasites, but nevertheless, it'd be too dangerous to hand him over to Langley or the Soviets. We'll keep him here as originally planned.